Anybody who wants to attend is welcome. This will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. So please, if you want to attend, try to arrive by 5:30 p.m. so we can take our place in the room.
Saben que para la organización del juego, ahí atrás hay una cajita y pueden dar lo que sientan desde el corazón, todo lo que va a llegar ahí. Si sobra algo, lo damos todo a la Malena. Y luego, si alguno de ustedes, hoy es el último día que toma las enseñanzas, puede acercarse al final con la Malena para, si quieren hacer una donación a ella, que dijimos que ya vive de esto, porque he hecho votos de no cobrar la enseñanza, y dar la carta, esa sharpa blanca, y recibir sus bendiciones a cambio de la. Bueno, yo creo que
So yeah, again about this subject of dana, which is an offering. So again, on the box on the back of the room, you can make an offering to the expenses that were incurred in the organization of the event, and of course everything that remains after the expenses were covered will be offered to Lama Lena. And remember that if it's your last day here and you want to give over the kata to Lama Lena, and if you want also to make a dana offering to her, you can do her. But you can do this at the end of the session. And remember, she has been in charge for teaching, so she has made it bound to sell teachings.
Ok, bueno, otra vez pedirle a y bueno, gracias por estar ahí. Mañana, si pueden llegar también media hora antes, como hoy, que fue genial, ya estamos súper bien de hora.
Please remember also to switch off your phones, and also tomorrow you can arrive like today, like half an hour before, so we can have like today. Now we have all everything set on time, so that would be great. Thank you. Practice of children, the one that Lama Lena mentioned yesterday, the part, so we will be taught by one of Lama Lena's students, and we will do the practice together. So at 6 p.m.
Make yourselves comfortable, guys. Martin, I'd like to try it differently today without all the earbuds, just the normal way.
Okay. So I would just use amplified
Yep,
mic.
like that.
Oh, it's not.
Okay.
That's how we usually do it and how I'm used to it.
Okay.
And I find that with the earbuds, it's a little jangling for me.
Okay.
You want your coffee hot or cold? You have iced.
No, hot's fine in cold water.
No.
I think this should work.
Lama,
Yes.
broadcasting this because I'm broadcasting the translation, but I don't use it for here.
Okay. Yeah, that. I think I'm a little too loud, guys. Tone me down a little bit.
Marian.
Testing. It's still too loud.
Estaba muy alto. ¿No? Hola, hola. Hola, 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 hola.
Nice.
Ok, entonces vamos a usar otro sistema hoy, vamos a usar sin las audioguías, directamente los dos amplificados. ¿No?
Anything else you need?
When we all hear the same sounds,
Cuando todos escuchamos los mismos sonidos,
as well as seeing the same sights,
además de ver las mismas cosas que vemos,
I think we can create more the feeling of being together
creo que
here
podemos crear más el sentimiento de estar juntos aquí.
than when some of us hear one thing through a headphone
Algunos de nosotros escuchamos algo a través de un auricular.
and someone else, we hear something through another headphone.
Y otra persona escucha otra cosa a través de un auricular.
Leila, how's your connection doing with this?
Excellent.
¿Cómo va la conexión? Muy bien.
The cable, so perfect.
Excellent. And the Catalan speaking people here,
La gente que habla catalán aquí,
can I have a show of hands?
puede levantar la mano.
Do all of you, is there any one of you who doesn't speak quite fluently either Spanish or English?
Español o inglés.
Is there any of the Catalan people here who would like a translation to Catalonia?
Necesito la traducción al catalán.
Okay, just making sure because we have done it. We just shift everywhere everybody sits, where we put the one language over here, one language back there, another language back there. We had Russian, Turkish,
Antes,
Georgian.
en otros lugares, en Georgia, por ejemplo, teníamos un traductor de ruso, un traductor de turco, y lo digamos por la habitación, o sea que se puede hacer. Lama, just one question.
Yes,
Is it okay that I do simultaneous?
yeah, it won't matter, sure.
It won't matter.
No, people, if our mics are just the right amount of loudness to each other, people will hear both.
But to you,
And-
it's okay, yes?
It doesn't bother me in the least.
But, okay.
No, Rinpoche and I did this for 50 years,
Okay.
and that was before tech, so it's just how I'm used to it.
Entonces, lo vamos a hacer simultáneo, así que bueno, tenemos que se entienda eso, y si no tenemos problema, que lo hizo de 50 años con su maestro, así que bueno, intentaremos eso.
Could be that it just feels more like he's here doing it with me and I'm just translating what he's saying.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It feels as if he's here with me, behind me, and I'm just translating what he's saying.
Es como si estuviera él atrás mío y yo estuviera traduciendo lo que él dice.
Juku kundu zombo gombo dorji sempa garab dorji dang. Shere singe bardu shin labde, deda mabzan tata tusum chi. Dzogchen jupe lamala solo deb. Ergin pema junela so deb. Dorji Chang Chitilo Narudang Marpa Mila Gompo Tsatsapa Na Pupadang Paldan Drupa Suk Kargilama Namla Solo Devo Chen Lama Namla Solo Dev Drew Chen Lama Namla Solo Dev Kaginwari Lama Namla Solo Dev Shakya Lama Namla Solo Dev Nyandu Dayundran Lama Namla Solo Dev Akondu Jondam Yerme Pa Gun Garab Durjijin Trakpa Jetidan Nisume Pai Balamanam Chetente Chang. So you all did your homework last night,
Hicieron su tarea al renovar sus deberes esta noche.
which was to relax,
Relajarse,
maybe have a beer,
quizás tomar una cerveza,
sit,
sentarse,
rest in the stillness,
en la quietud.
without having a big fight with the moving to make it go away.
Una lucha con el movimiento para hacer que se vaya ese movimiento.
Just resting there.
Realmente descansar.
Did any questions arise as a result of that
¿Alguna pregunta como resultado de esta experiencia?
that you want to ask me before we move on this morning?
¿Qué quieran hacerme antes de continuar esta mañana?
Going once, going twice. Okay.
Bueno,
Omnipresent Vajravatara, Tilopa, Naropa, Maitreya, Marpa, Mila, Dakpo, and all the rest.
y todos los
Countless Kargu adepts,
incontables adeptos Kagyu
look on me with compassion.
consideran con compasión
What I call my own mind,
lo que yo llamo mi propia mente,
this flickering awareness that pays attention to thises and that's,
conciencia que presta atención a esto y aquello,
intermittently thinking about everything under the sun,
constantemente piensa en todo bajo el sol,
without being able to hold it still on any single point.
poder quedarse fijo o hacer que se quede quieta con un punto.
I mean, look, guys, pick a thought, any thought.
Un pensamiento, cualquier pensamiento,
Hold that thought.
sostén ese pensamiento,
It's wiggling, isn't it?
se mueve, ¿no? Duda,
Flickering,
parpadea,
trying to become another thought about the same topic, but it's not that thought.
trata de convertirse en otro pensamiento sobre ese tema, pero no es ese pensamiento.
You'll never make the moving hold
Jamás
still.
hacer que el movimiento se quede quieto.
So give up the idea of one-pointed concentration.
Abandona la idea de una concentración unipuntual.
This open awareness,
Esta conciencia abierta,
this natural state of mind,
estado natural de mente,
it is not pointed like a bird dog that sees a grouse.
enfocado en un campo de caza, de cacería, que ven los pájaros y apuntan con la nariz a su presa.
It is open
Está abierto
and
y
relaxed,
relajado,
bigger
más grande
than this
que
or that.
esto o aquello.
It's the either ors that will trip you up
El problema, lo que te va a complicar es cuando piensas esto versus aquello
in your thinking.
en tu pensamiento.
As Saraha said,
Dijo,
here in openness where all ises and isn'ts aren't.
es y no es, no son.
So relax.
Así que relájate.
Stop trying to force your mind
Forzar a tu mente
to conform to
o
some
obedecer
idea
a
you
la
have
idea que tienes
from something you read or something you heard.
O algo que escuchaste,
Stop trying to make it behave according to how you think it should.
piensas que debería hacerlo.
Put down the should.
Ahorita el debería
It's an ambition.
es una ambición.
It's your attempt to become perfect
Intento de volverse perfecto,
by your definition of
de tu
perfection
definición de perfección,
rather than by that which is real.
de aquello que es real.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you ask if Spanish Martin's voice keeps getting quieter? I think
Oh, you gotta stay loud enough
they really, yeah, even more.
Okay,
Yeah, or we can ask if people
for the back.
for the back. I don't think they're hearing real well.
okay.
I tend to be loud because I'm not even used to having a microphone. So keep up with me or else turn your volume up.
Okay, okay.
And you're doing the translation in Georgian? Oh, you're not translating while you live stream? Next time.
Okay.
Okay. There's always a matter of working out the tech bugs.
Siempre hay un tema con las cuestiones técnicas, ¿no?
Even more loud for Martin, please.
Para mí, más alto, ¿no?
Turn your volume up, Martin.
No, no te, me acerco más así. Okay.
Okay?
¿Está mejor ahí? Perfecto.
Excellent. And you can all hear me in the back too?
La-
That's because I have a very big mouth and I shout.
Una boca muy grande y grito.
I still can't shout telepathically as well as Rinpoche could.
No puedo gritar telepáticamente como Rinpoche podía hacerlo.
He was the best for that.
Él era genial, el mejor para esto.
All he'd say is, mind
Él
looking.
decía mente mirando mente.
No color,
Ningún color,
no shape,
ninguna forma,
no round,
ninguna,
no round, no square,
no había forma, redonda, cuadrada,
no here,
no hay aquí,
no there.
no hay allá.
You,
Tú,
mind looking.
mente viendo mente.
Relax.
Relájate.
And everybody would know just what he meant.
Y todos sabían simplemente lo que él estaba señalando directamente.
The relaxation is the
La
key.
relajación es la clave.
Stop trying to get it right.
Deja de intentarlo bien, estarlo bien.
Leave it how it is and join the flow.
Y únete al flujo.
In Dzogchen,
En Dzogchen
we talk about sopa,
hablamos de sopa,
conduct.
conducta,
It refers to the flow
referencia al flujo, al fluir.
of phenomena. When we relax and cease to hold ourselves separate from that, it arises with great ease. And when trying has been exhausted, what remains is the ease of Amoga City, the all-accomplishing wisdom, which needs no intent for accomplishment. This does not mean hold still. It means allow responsiveness without centering yourself as a respondor.
sin centrarte en ti mismo como el respondedor.
The apparent reality
La realidad aparente.
of all the stories you tell yourself,
Historias que te cuentas a ti mismo,
that very reality
esa
made
realidad
of your descriptions,
de tus descripciones,
this is what binds you to samsara from beginningless time.
desde tiempos sin comienzo.
So free your mind
Libera tu mente
from the need to describe everything in order to understand it.
de entenderlo.
Understanding is futile.
Entender es inútil.
Let it go free.
Deja que vayas suelto, que quedes suelto.
Relax.
Relájate.
It's being caught up in your hopes and fears. You become exhausted by dualistic existence.
Atrapado en las esperanzas y miedos y quedar agotado por la existencia dualista.
Chasing what you think you want,
Perseguir lo que crees que quieres,
catching it,
lograrlo,
getting tired of it,
cansarte de ello, agotarte,
chasing something else,
perseguir otra cosa diferente.
and again,
Una y otra vez,
give it up.
soltarlo.
And the monsters you
Y
think
los
are
monstruos
chasing
que
you,
piensas que te están persiguiendo,
you made them up.
tú los has inventado.
You made them up in your own
Tú
very
los has
mind.
inventado en tu propia mente.
But don't fight
Pero
with that.
no luches con eso, no pelees con eso.
Don't try to stop
No
telling
trates de
stories.
dejar de contarte historias.
You feed it energy by getting in a fight with it.
Energía al entrar en una pelea, en una lucha con ellas.
Instead, relax.
Mantente relajado.
Have a giggle at it
Ríete de ello.
and leave it be.
Déjalo ser.
With all its dualistic thinking, deluded ideas, and acceptance and rejection,
Ideas delusivas y aceptación y rechazo.
when through the kindness of the Guru I actually think about this, when through the kindness of the Guru I actually think about
La
this,
generosidad del gurú, yo pienso en esto concretamente.
I see that the thinker
Veo que el pensador que piensa
is empty of origination, presence, and departure.
origen, presencia y partida.
Your thoughts.
Tus pensamientos.
Pick a thought.
Elige un pensamiento
Where was it before you thought it?
antes de que lo hayan pensado.
Where did it arise from?
¿De dónde surgió?
Where did it dissolve into when you were done thinking it?
Se disuelve, hacia dónde se disuelve cuando ya lo piensas.
And in the moment of the
Y en el
thought, that
momento
very
del
moment, that
pensamiento, en
instant,
ese mismo momento, en ese instante,
what's it made
¿de
of?
qué está hecho?
Can you sit on it?
Puedes sentarte sobre él,
Can you juggle with it?
puedes jugar, hacer algo con él.
Does it have a color or a
Tiene
shape?
un color, una forma.
Examine the thought
Examina el pensamiento.
right while you're
Mientras
thinking of it.
lo estás pensando.
But don't examine it with your
No
thoughts,
lo examines con tus pensamientos.
chasing your tail like a kitten in a bag.
Tu cola, tu propia cola.
Examine it by feeling at it.
Examina como sintiendo.
Shift your questioning from here down into here.
Cuestionamiento o tu investigación desde acá hacia, como hacia más abajo.
That's an analogy.
Eso es una analogía que te estoy dando.
Look and see.
Ve, observa.
Where do your thoughts come from? Where do they abide? Where do they go when you're done thinking them? Each and every little bitty particle of thought.
Cada partícula del pensamiento minúscula.
No thing.
ninguna cosa.
Without a there to that there where.
Si no tiene allí, este sitio no es ningún allí.
I see that mind is entirely empty of origination,
Enteramente vacía de origen, de un punto de
presence, or departure.
lugar de presencia o sitio al que parte.
For within all the stories you tell yourself made of thoughts and feelings,
Hechos de pensamientos y sentimientos,
no actual thing
ninguna cosa
occurs.
concreta ocurre. Nada concreto ocurre.
Ah, but you love the stories, don't
Te
you?
encantan las historias.
If I leave you alone in this
Te
room
dejo en esta sala solo
for half an hour,
por media hora,
your phones are going to come out and you're going to read something on them,
tu teléfono te va a llamar y vas a leer algo en el teléfono,
aren't they?
¿o no?
You'll read words, somebody
Vas a leer
else's words.
las palabras de otra persona.
How many of you, if I walked out for half an hour and came back
Si yo me fuera por media hora y regresara,
without giving you any
sin
instructions,
darte ninguna instrucción,
would be fishing out your cell phone,
no estaría
opening your Kindle,
teléfono, su Kindle
Facebook,
o Facebook,
or whatever you
o
like to
lo
read
que
there?
sea que le guste leer.
We like the stories.
Nos gustan las historias,
They're fun.
son divertidas, entretenidas.
So do not make
Así que
bad of them.
no hagas algo malo, como si fueran algo malo.
The stories
Las
hurt.
historias duelen,
They are the cause of pain and misery.
son la causa del dolor y la miseria.
So do not make good of them.
No hagas algo bueno de ellas.
Leave them as they are,
Déjalas tal cual son,
neither good nor
buenas
evil,
ni malvadas,
neither to be
ni
embraced and
algo a ser
affirmed,
abrazado y afirmado,
nor
ni
discarded
algo
to the
a ser
garbage.
descartado a la basura.
Relax.
Relaja,
Let them play like a toddler
jugar como un niño pequeño,
who is for the moment not bothering their mommy.
por el momento no molesta a su mamá.
Come on, you're going to take that moment, mamas.
Tienen que tomarse ese momento, madres.
Without basis or origin,
Sin base ni origen,
mind itself is great emptiness,
más es la gran vacuidad.
and the dance of phenomena that rises within it
Surgen en ella,
has no effect on that emptiness.
sobre esa vacuidad.
Just as when I move my
Como cuando yo
vajra
mi
through
vajra
space,
a través del espacio,
I can leave no
no
scratch
dejo
on space.
ninguna marca en el espacio.
I cannot crack it,
No puedo romper el espacio, quebrarlo,
scratch it, or dent it in any way,
ni hacerlo de una manera,
because it is empty of matter.
porque está vacío de materia.
This is an
Esto
analogy.
es una analogía.
The thoughts that arise and vanish momentarily,
Se desvanecen a cada momento.
leaving no residue in mind itself.
Residuo en la mente misma.
You don't have to make them do that.
Tú hacer intencionalmente que ellos hagan esto, que esto sea así.
You have no need to create this to be good enough to get this or to make this happen.
Suficientemente bueno o buena para que esto pase o hacer o que se logre.
It do it itself
Esto es así, lo hace, es así por sí mismo.
without any need of your
Sin
effort.
necesidad de tu esfuerzo.
But don't believe my word on this.
Mis palabras.
You all check and see.
Chequéalo, verifica para ver si es así.
Can you make a thought that leaves a scratch on your
Un
mind?
pensamiento que deja una marca en tu mente.
Well, come on, try.
Vamos, inténtalo.
Try harder.
Trata más fuerte, más intensamente.
Without basis or origin.
Base ni origen.
Mind itself is a great emptiness.
Es una gran vacuidad.
It is the natural state of all things in samsara and nirvana.
Samsara y nirvana.
You do not need
No necesitas
to reject samsara
samsara.
or grasp nirvana in pursuit of it.
En persecución de nirvana, buscándolo.
This purely locks you into the singularity of samsara,
Te atrapa en la singularidad de samsara. Si intentas
chasing and fleeing, chasing and fleeing.
seguir y huir,
Won't work.
no funciona.
Instead, recognize samsara as the dance of phenomena,
Como la danza de los fenómenos.
the moving,
El movimiento de lo que se mueve.
and nirvana
Y nirvana
is simply the stillness.
es la quietud.
And without rejecting the movement of the moving or attempting to make it hold still, and without trying to get the stillness to do anything it has not always been, relax into the dance of stillness and see it for what it is. For the natural state of all things is the union of samsara and nirvana, which is the limitless dharma dhatu, vast and expansive beyond defining. Awareness and unawareness, noticing and not noticing, are what we label as the experience of samsara and nirvana. With the knowing of this, the full certainty, we are ourselves all Buddhas of the fourth time. In its absence, we roll in our own confusions. In fact, neither samsara nor nirvana is a real thing. The names for this include Dharma Dhatu, Sugata essence, Vajra of the mind, emptiness complete with all supreme aspects. There are many names, but all refer to the same thing. From the side of the mountain, the sky will appear far away, and it will appear that there are paths up the mountain that lead to the sky. But if you know the nature of sky, sky and space are the same word in Tibetan, then it begins at the surface of the earth that extends forever.
En la superficie de la tierra, el cielo comienza ahí y se extiende sin fin.
It is no closer to the top of the mountain.
No importa qué tan cerca, no es que está más cerca de la cumbre, de la cima de la montaña.
Therefore,
Por lo tanto,
why struggle with paths?
¿por qué luchar con caminos, con senderos?
But
Pero
But here's the big but.
Pero, y este es el gran pero,
Does your life hurt?
¿tu vida duele?
So there's got to be something you can do about it until it doesn't.
Tiene que haber algo que puedas hacer al respecto porque ya no duele.
Are you sick?
¿Estás enfermo o enferma?
Take a medicine.
Toma una medicina.
Are you crazy?
¿Estás loco?
Sabotaging the joy of your life in every moment
El gozo de tu vida en cada momento.
with negative belief systems?
Sistemas de creencias negativos.
Practice Dharma.
Practica Dharma.
But laugh while you
Pero
do it,
ríete mientras lo haces.
knowing
Sabiendo
that the path and the fruition are one and the same,
que son una y la misma cosa.
and that you're only climbing a mountain for your amusement,
Escalando la montaña por entretenimiento.
and because the valley's full of brambles.
Full of
Brambles?
brambles.
Thorn bushes?
Oh, y porque el valle está lleno de espinas, ¿no? De plantas espinosas.
Therefore, there are stages.
Por tanto, hay etapas, fases,
One matures one's being by training the mind.
cuando madura el propio ser al entrenar la mente.
What do you train it to do?
¿Qué es lo que entrenas?
Let go.
Soltar,
Relax.
relajar,
Leave it be.
déjalo ser, relaja, deja ser.
This is what you teach the mind.
Esto es lo que le enseñas a la mente.
When you train your mind
Cuando entrenas tu mente,
to be able
para
to
que
shift
puedas
its
poner
attention,
su atención,
when you break your
cuando
compulsive obsession
rompes
with
tu
phenomena
compulsiva con los fenómenos,
and give equal time
igual tiempo
to
a
nirvana,
nirvana,
then
entonces
you will see the point of
verás el
relaxation.
sentido de la relajación, el punto de la relajación.
Do you all understand how you create your own reality?
¿Entienden cómo creen su propia realidad?
I remember when I was maybe a teenager,
Cuando yo era adolescente,
my mother had a
mi
friend.
madre tenía una amiga,
She was going going to turn 50.
ella iba a cumplir 50 años,
She's a very pretty woman.
una mujer muy bonita, muy bella,
And she had a husband.
y ella tenía un marido, su marido,
And for a couple of months, he started acting odd.
comenzó a actuar raro.
He was out late, came home late from work,
Volvía muy tarde del trabajo,
took his phone in the other room, changed the password on it.
el teléfono a la otra habitación, cambiaba las contraseñas.
Sometimes when she'd walk into a group of her friends,
Cuando ella llegaba a un grupo de amigos,
they'd suddenly shut up
ellos dejaban de hablar,
and then change the topic.
cambiaban el tema.
She began worrying, of
Ella
course,
comenzó a preocuparse, por supuesto,
that he's having an affair. He's found a young one.
una aventura que había encontrado una mujer más joven.
She suffered terribly for a couple of months,
Sufrió muchísimo por un par de meses.
being more and more sure from his secretive behavior
Convencida por su conducta secreta de este hombre,
that this was
que
happening.
esto estaba ocurriendo. De hecho,
When her birthday came,
cuando llegó su cumpleaños,
said to her, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I forgot all about it. I didn't even get you a present.
no,
Let me take you out to dinner."
déjame, olvidé el regalo, déjame invitarte a cenar.
After getting home late and not being, when she called him at work, being found there,
Volver a casa tarde y que no estuviera cuando ella lo llamaba.
she says, "Okay." He says, "Go on, dress nice. I'll take you to dinner, a nice place."
Dijo, vístete,
Get
lindo,
dressed.
te voy a llevar a un lugar lindo para cenar.
So she does,
Entonces ella lo hizo,
get in the car,
se sube al auto.
and he's driving, and she's like, "Where are we going?" "Oh, there's this new, really beautiful restaurant down here I wanted to take you to."
Muy bonito, nuevo, que te quiero llevar.
And she knows he's lying, and he's not very good at that.
Sabe que estaba mintiendo, él, que no era muy bueno para mentir.
And they get down to this really weird, deserted warehouse neighborhood.
Desierto, un barrio bastante desierto.
They come around down to like by the water, is San Francisco, so by the water, by the docks.
El nivel del agua de San Francisco.
And she's like, oh,
Y
fuck,
ella dice, oh, diablos,
he's going to kill me.
me va a matar.
He's got a young one and now he's going to kill me. And it's dark, there's no light or anything. And he pulls up and he escorts her out of the car, and she's like, no, I'm not getting out of the car. He's like, get out of the car. Come on. And pulls her, almost drags her out of the car and towards the water where there's this boat, big yacht tied up, dark. And all of a sudden, all the lights come on and everybody throws confetti and yells happy birthday. And that's what's been going on for 2 months. It's a birthday cruise for her 50th with all her friends on this big, beautiful yacht that he's rented. You know, your problems aren't always what you think they are. You make them up. I had a student once from a place I don't get to very often. And so I didn't see her for a couple of years. And she came to me and said, I'm so sorry. Please accept my apologies. I'm so sorry I made you so angry that you haven't spoken to me. And so I finally, okay, when did you get this impression? Well, the way you looked at me 2 years ago. 2 years ago in this town. Oh, yeah, that weird chili dinner. I was so full of gas. I'm sure I was just trying not to fart. It had nothing to do with you if my eyes were aimed to you while I'm trying not to let a big one loose. She suffered for 2 years, sure that her teacher was mad at her. Really, guys? Relax. Do you say take it with a grain of salt? Do you have that phrase?
Tómalo como con un grano de sal, quiere decir como no tomarse en serio, ¿no? Las cosas, tomárselo ligero.
Salt your stories well.
Que tus historias sean ligeras, digamos.
Treat them like random things you read on the internet.
Considera tus historias como cosas que has leído en internet por ahí.
And if you believe that crap, there's nothing I can do for you.
Ese tipo de locuras, no hay nada que
Mahamudra is delightful because it breaks it down into clear instructions.
interesante porque separa esto en instrucciones.
Number 1, relax.
Número uno, relájate.
Shift your attention
Abre tu atención
from the point
del
focus
foco puntual
on phenomena,
en los fenómenos
which you've been doing for
que has
eons.
estado haciendo por eones, por eras enteras.
Relax it, let it open naturally.
Deja que se abra naturalmente.
Don't poke at it.
No lo fuerces, no lo manosees.
Notice the stillness
Nota la quietud.
in which the moving arises,
El movimiento surge, a dónde surge el movimiento.
in which the moving
Dónde
dissolves,
ese movimiento se disuelve.
of which the moving is made.
Está hecho el movimiento.
Become accustomed
Acostúmbrate, familiarízate.
to resting in stillness.
Descansar en la quietud.
Give it equal time
Dale igual tiempo
to your obsession with the moving.
con el movimiento.
Periodically, in the midst of your day,
En medio de tu día,
as you compulsively spin the moving in the directions you want it to go.
Llevas el movimiento o empujas el movimiento en la dirección en la que quieres que vaya,
Stop.
detente.
Take your hands off the keyboard.
Suelta el teclado.
Take your eyes off the screen.
Saca los ojos de la pantalla. Quita los ojos.
Notice the stillness as the context
Como el contexto
in which the moving moves,
se mueve.
in which no actual
Donde
thing
una
does the
cosa
moving.
concreta hace el movimiento.
Can you all do that
Pueden hacer eso
to that step?
hasta ese paso.
Questions about how to achieve that if you can't. Please don't be shy of me.
Lograr esto. Por favor, no sean
I only bite people who think they're important.
tímidos.
I only bite people who think they're important.
Solo muerdo a la gente que se considera importante.
Here, yes, please.
¿Cómo hago esto con la ira?
Your anger,
Tu ira,
because you don't like it.
como no te gusta la ira,
You don't like it, do you? You think it's bad, don't you?
no piensas que es algo malo.
That's your first problem.
Ese es tu primer problema.
That's a story.
Eso es una historia.
Anger is a feeling.
La ira es un sentimiento.
You've got a story about it.
Es una historia sobre ese
You've wrapped it up in a story.
envuelto en una historia.
You're squishing
Lo
it.
estás aplastando.
So,
Así que
your story is made of
tu
thought.
historia está hecha de pensamiento.
It includes the story about why you're angry,
Sobre por qué estás enojado.
combined with the story about why you shouldn't be angry,
No deberías estar enojado.
why it's bad to
Por
be
qué
angry,
está mal estar enojado.
what bad things might result from your anger,
Qué cosas malas pueden venir de tu enojo.
but while whoever is the object of your anger deserves the anger.
El objeto de tu enojo se merece.
You see that ball of
¿Ves esa
mischief?
bola
Ball of crap?
de basura?
What's it made of?
¿De qué está hecho?
These are thoughts.
Estos son pensamientos.
They arise in stillness and dissolve in stillness.
Vuelven en la quietud.
They were never made of anything other than stillness, but don't lay that on top of them as a belief system.
Esa otra historia encima de tu sistema de creencias.
Look right at
Mira
them,
justo a ellos,
right through them.
a través de ellos.
After all, they are
Porque
transparent.
son transparentes, translúcidos.
The thoughts, the stories.
Pensamientos, las historias.
Looking through them
Viendo a través de ellos
at the stillness,
a la quietud,
you see them arising and vanishing
surgiendo y desvaneciéndose
again and again,
una y otra vez.
leaving no mark on the
Sin
stillness,
ninguna marca en la quietud.
made of no actual thing, matter, molecule that moves.
Molécula o algo sustancial que se mueve.
And so they lose power over you.
Pierden poder sobre ti.
The anger is
La
there,
ira está ahí.
but now it is a naked feeling,
Un sentimiento desnudo.
stripped of all the stories that constrain it.
Historias que lo constriñen.
Feel it in your body.
Siéntelo en tu cuerpo.
Don't suppress it.
No lo suprimas.
Don't act on it.
No actúes en base, no reacciones en base a ello.
Don't try to make it go away.
Trates de hacer que se vaya.
Feel it.
Siéntelo.
You will find that it is energy,
Encontrarás, descubrirás que es energía.
neither good nor bad. It is the energy of mirror-like wisdom,
De la sabiduría cual espejo, como un espejo.
unchanged from beginningless time.
Desde tiempo sin comienzo.
The symbol of Vajrasattva, white in color in the east.
Color blanco, la dirección este.
The mirror-like primordial purity of the empty mirror.
Primordial, como un espejo primordial.
The mirror which perceives everything equally,
Que percibe todo igualmente,
without judgment.
sin juzgar.
And now,
Y ahora,
nothing at all.
nada.
The empty mirror reflecting itself.
Reflejándose a sí mismo.
Vajrasattva,
Vajrasattva,
primordial purity.
pureza primordial.
There's your anger.
Esa es tu ira.
It's only because you're scared of it that it bothers you.
Solo te molesta porque tienes miedo de ella.
Because somebody told you it was
Alguien
bad.
dijo que era algo malo.
The symbol of the peacock
El
feathers,
símbolo de las plumas de pavo.
the peacock eats
El
poisonous
pavo
plants,
come plantas venenosas.
and from such grows these beautiful colors.
Crece sus hermosos colores.
A yogi
Un yogi
on this path
en
of
este
Mahamudra
camino de
Mahati
Mahamudra y Mahati
eats the five
come
poisons
los 5 venenos.
of anger and
Ira,
avarice and pride,
avaricia, orgullo,
of lust and loneliness,
soledad,
of competition and jealousy,
competencia, celos,
of sloth and exhaustion.
el agotamiento, la pesadez.
Roll in it.
Revuélcate en ello.
Allow it to take its natural shape by stripping it naked
Permite que tome su forma natural mediante el desnudarlo.
of all the stories about it, good and bad, the layers.
Malas, buenas, todas las capas,
See it for what it is.
pero por lo que es,
The dance of wisdom.
la danza de sabiduría.
To do this,
Para esto, para hacer esto,
to succeed at
para
this,
tener éxito en esto,
the third wong is
el
necessary.
tercer wang o empoderamiento es necesario.
Look through the
Es
thoughts.
a través de los pensamientos.
Recognize their transparency.
Transparencia.
Look through the movement and see the stillness.
Nota la quietud, ve la quietud.
Completely unaffected by the dance of movement.
La danza del movimiento.
And the movement unbothered by the stillness in which it dances. When you are able to see, perceive for your own self,
Por ti mismo,
the movement and the stillness as a singularity.
singularidad,
This is where Shine matures into Laktong.
Shine madura a Laktong.
In Shine,
En Shine,
you're giving the stillness equal time.
a la quietud igual cantidad de tiempo.
You're making a habit
Estás haciendo un hábito
of noticing
de
the stillness.
notar la quietud.
You're trying to get over your compulsion
Trascender tu compulsión,
of obsessing with the moving at all times.
que se mueve en cada momento.
So you break that
Así que
habit
quiebras ese hábito.
by Shine again and again.
Una y otra vez.
You develop a delight in it.
Gozo,
You start to get attached to the bliss of it.
apegarte al gozo que hay en él.
You recognize clearly
Conoces claramente
what moves
lo que se mueve, qué es lo que se mueve
and what does not,
y qué no se mueve.
so that you are not
De modo que no
confused
estás confundido o confundida
And you do not attempt to stabilize
Intentas así estabilizar
the idea of
la
stillness,
idea de quietud,
the view of stillness,
la vista, la visión de la quietud,
the feeling of
el
stillness,
sentimiento de la
the
quietud,
perception of
la
stillness,
percepción de quietud,
the achievement of Shine.
el logro de Shine.
Hey, if it comes, it's going to go.
Si viene o comienza,
That means it's moving. Stop trying to stabilize the
se
moving.
mueve, no trates de estabilizarlo, se mueve, de fijarlo.
You get over your need
Trasciende tu
to poke at the
necesidad
moving and make it do what you
de
want it to,
movimiento y hacer que haga lo que tú quieres que haga.
because you become
Porque
sure
te convences, estás seguro,
by your own experience, not by anything I said, that the moving is the stillness, and the stillness is the moving. No difference between.
No tienen diferencia.
This is Laktong,
Esto es la
direct seeing.
visión directa.
You are clear
Estás claro.
what moves and what
¿Qué
does not.
qué se mueve y qué no se mueve?
You have become
Te
able
has vuelto capaz
to rest in the
de
stillness
estar
often
en
enough
quietud suficientemente, con frecuencia,
that your compulsion to keep poking and spinning the moving wears off,
que se mueva el movimiento se resuelve.
and you rest in balance.
Descansas en balance,
But this is not the end.
pero este no es el fin.
You have a next step.
Tienes un paso siguiente.
Rangre.
Hablando rico en tibetano.
Who sees
¿Quién está viendo
the moving?
el movimiento
Stillness.
o la quietud?
Who looks out from behind your own eyes
Viendo desde tus ojos.
and sometimes
A veces
obsesses
se obsesiona
with keeping the moving
con
spinning,
hacer que el movimiento siga moviéndose, girando.
and sometimes
Y a veces
relaxes and rests
relaja
in
y
stillness.
descansa en quietud.
Who dat?
¿Quién allí?
This is called gazing into your own eyes.
Mirar en tus propios ojos o a tus propios ojos.
And that's your homework tonight.
Esa es los deberes para hoy.
No mirror.
No espejo, ningún espejo.
Gaze into your own eyes.
Mira en tus propios ojos.
It's not the personality we're looking for. It's something naked.
Es algo de
Personality's
la
moving.
personalidad se mueve, es parte de lo que se mueve.
Who sees?
¿Quién ve?
The word in
La
Tibetan,
palabra
Rigpa,
en tibetano, Rigpa,
is translated as awareness.
con conciencia,
We got it working so you can put it together.
It keeps moving around.
We lost you for a while, but we can still hear you. You have an amazing voice.
Yes, well, I think I'll just do this because it's easier for me than keeping track
Oh,
of
yes,
it clipped on. This shirt, although I love it, does not have a clippy place.
esta camisa no tiene, me encanta, pero no tiene lugar para fijar y lo voy a tener con la mano.
Questions here.
¿Hay preguntas?
Yo tengo la impresión que podría haber quietud sin movimiento.
I have the impression that there can be stillness without movement.
¿Es eso posible
Is this possible?
o siempre hay movimiento?
Or is there always movement?
It is possible, but it is temporarily.
Es posible, pero es un estado temporario.
For instance, if the mind is unconscious due to deep anesthetic,
Debido a una anestesia profunda,
or during certain moments after death, before entering the bardo,
antes de entrar al bardo,
there is stillness,
hay quietud,
but it always contains the potential to move.
contiene el potencial de movimiento.
Therefore, it contains
Por
the
lo
moving,
tanto,
even though it
contiene el
might
movimiento, aunque puede
not be dancing with
no
movement at
estar
the moment.
danzando con el movimiento en ese preciso momento.
It is possible to
Es
sit in
posible
Shine
sentarse en China
and not see the
y
moving
no ver el movimiento.
and have the moving settle
El
sufficiently
movimiento se asiente lo suficiente
that it is quiescent.
que se vuelva quiescente, ¿no? Quieto.
But because
Pero
of
debido a la
awareness,
conciencia,
it can't stay that way.
no puede permanecer así.
You see, the stillness
Verás, la quietud
is not dead,
no está muerta.
not a big dead
No
old
es
vacuum.
un vacío blanco, negro, muerto.
It's alive
Está vivo.
with the seer that
El
sees
veedor
it.
que la ve,
You
tú
are the vitality of
eres
it.
la vitalidad de ello.
Your personality is
Tu
moving.
personalidad se mueve.
Your mind is
Tu
stillness.
mente es quietud.
And you who see the
Tú
two,
que ves estas dos,
you are the vitality
eres la
that permeates
vitalidad
the
que
stillness,
permea la quietud,
permitting it to move,
permitiéndole que se mueva,
causing there to be movement.
causando que haya movimiento.
For it is the
Pues
nature of
es
life to
naturaleza de
perceive,
la vida percibir.
and a perception is nothing but a
Una
clump
percepción no es nada más que una aglomeración,
of physical
de
sensations of the
estos
six sense
físicos
organs,
de los 6 órganos sensoriales,
a story about those
una historia
sensations,
respecto a esas sensaciones,
and an emotion riding the story.
que monta sobre esta historia.
Sometimes the story rides the
La
emotion.
historia monta la emoción.
A perception is a clump
Una
of these three
percepción es
things.
un montón, un amontonamiento de los aspectos.
You perceive because you are alive.
Porque tú estás vivo, viva.
And even though there is a small period of time in death without
Un
perception,
periodo breve de tiempo en la muerte sin percepción,
called the bardo approaching death,
se llama el bardo de la muerte,
bardo of clear light,
el bardo de la luz clara,
in which there is no actual
donde
perception.
no hay percepción concreta.
And even though before that there is a period of unconsciousness
Antes de esto hay un periodo de inconsciencia.
when the red and white come together and are
Cuando
encapsulated,
lo rojo y lo blanco se juntan y se encapsulan,
they don't last.
no dura mucho. No dura.
Because the nature of the vitality of the universe
La vitalidad del universo
is the ability
es
to move.
la capacidad de moverse.
Bodhisattva, Buddha consciousness,
Necesita la conciencia búdica.
is what we call that vitality.
Así llamamos a esa vitalidad.
Ninji,
Ninji en tibetano.
great-hearted open-heartedness,
Apertura y grandeza del corazón
is its nature.
es su naturaleza.
More questions?
¿Hay más preguntas?
Open.
La pregunta es, ¿puede darme un nombre tibetano?
Jampal Chuni. Jampal Chuni. Write it down.
Escríbelo. Lama, ¿me puede dar un nombre tibetano también a mí? Por favor.
Rolpato. Are you the last one?
Por favor, también soy la última.
Karmajato. So those names have meaning.
Estos nombres tienen significado.
The first one
El primero
was the loving nature of all that is and all that is not.
la naturaleza amorosa de todo lo que es y todo lo que no es.
What was the second one I gave you?
Rol
Lake of playfulness.
El segundo rol el lago de juego.
As in, phenomena is called the play of the Dharmakaya.
Claro,
That Rolpa.
El juego de la Macaya. Eso es por
What was the last name I gave you? Yatso, Karmajatso.
el último nombre, Karma.
Ocean of stars.
Océano de estrellas.
Okay? Okay, next question.
Siguiente pregunta.
As I am listening to your beautiful teachings, it seems to me for me quite difficult to put into practice and not giving equal time, but just giving time to the parts that I find so difficult in giving time.
Where are you in your life?
Where am I in my 60s?
Are you retired? Do you work?
I work
What time do you go to work? Okay, so you have appointments in an office. That's easy to work with. What's your family situation? Kids in the house? Grandkids in the house? Husband? Good for you. That makes it easier. It depends on the husband.
Depende del marido.
So for you, this is very easy.
Muy fácil.
When you get up in the morning,
Cuando te levantas por la mañana,
sit on the side of your bed
siéntate en el costado de tu cama
for 5 minutes.
por 5 minutos.
Rest in stillness.
Descansa en quietud.
Then go have your coffee,
Luego toma tu café,
your shower, your teeth
tu
brush,
ducha, tu lávate los dientes, lo que sea.
and then you go to see your first
Luego
client.
ve a ver tu primer cliente.
Is your office walking
Tu
distance from your
oficina
home?
está cerca de tu casa.
Will you drive or take a car?
¿O te tomas un auto?
So here's another wonderful
O
time.
aquí hay otro tiempo extra.
You're on a bus
Estás en un
or a
bus
cable car.
o en-
You don't have to drive it.
No necesitas conducirlo.
With all the activity and movement going on around you,
Movimiento ocurriendo a tu alrededor.
instead of sitting there
En lugar de sentarte
thinking bad thoughts about the other people.
malas sobre todo el mundo ahí,
Oh, that's a stupid hairdo.
o es un-
How can she leave the house like that?
¿Cómo pueden dejar la casa?
Deb, because it's first thing in the morning and of course you're in a funky mood.
Y por supuesto estás en un estado
Sometimes
a veces
find the stillness, rest in it until you get to your stop.
en ella hasta que llegues a tu parada.
You can keep your eye out for the stop while resting in
Puedes
stillness.
prestar atención a no pasarte de la parada.
Can watch the moving dance
Puedes ver la danza del movimiento
while resting in
mientras
stillness.
descansas en quietud.
And now you get to your office and you need to put your attention into your
Llegas a
client.
tu oficina y tienes que poner atención en tu cliente.
You're going to get a lunch break.
Tienes un intervalo para almorzar.
If you have one, go out to a cafe.
Tienes
They're all over the place. I'm sure there's one near your office. Find a comfortable chair.
Encuentra un asiento.
Some of them have really bad chairs.
Algunos tienen
Don't go to
sillas
that one.
horribles. No vayas a esos.
Find one with a good chair.
Encuentra uno con una buena silla.
Take your lunch.
Toma tu almuerzo.
Check your timing when the next
El
one's coming.
horario cuando tienes el próximo cliente,
Probably got at least 10 minutes.
probablemente tienes 10 minutos.
Rest in stillness.
Descansa en quietud.
You simply have to
Simplemente tienes
decide to
que
do it.
decidir hacerlo.
Decide to go against your obsessive compulsive disorder.
Trastorno obsesivo compulsivo.
Come on, our need to poke at phenomena continuously is obsessive compulsive disorder. It's just so common that you don't complain about it to the shrink. But we all have it.
Todos lo tenemos.
So here's the cure.
Aquí está la cura.
Takes a little while, but so does therapy.
Un tiempo, pero
Other questions?
hay más preguntas.
So my question is, sometimes when I meditate,
A veces cuando medito,
like something kind of clicks,
algo
and I let go.
clic y
My
suelto.
vision becomes become a bit kind of fuzzy,
Mi
almost
visión
dreamlike, but quite intense at the same time.
pero intensa, igual al mismo
Am I,
tiempo.
and maybe I shouldn't be worrying about this,
Quizás no debería
because
preocuparse.
obviously I got the advice to relax. And maybe I'm worried about it, and I kind of
Preocuparse por hacerlo perfectamente.
am I doing it right?
Pero
You are.
haciendo bien,
That is a normal nyam.
ese es un ñam, una experiencia normal.
It's a visual nyam.
Es un ñam visual.
A nyam is a
Ñam
meditative
es una
experience.
experiencia meditativa.
It's an experience that arises as a result of you practicing. There's street signs.
Hay- son como
They
carteles
tell you you're doing it right.
que dicen que vas bien.
Certain nyams, such as that click into clarity,
Como este clic a la
Selwa
claridad,
ñam.
eso se le llama selwa ñam.
They have names.
Tienen nombres.
Sometimes you get all
A
blissed
veces
out.
tienes todo un gran gozo, que es
Dewa
eso
ñam.
se le llama dewa ñam.
Sometimes
A veces
you're in stillness and
estás
you couldn't think a thought if you wanted to.
podrías pensar en un
They're just
pensamiento
not coming.
si quisieras, no aparecen, no vienen pensamientos.
Mitokpa nyam.
Mi topa ñam.
And then there's all sorts of other ones with blue lights that come in and
Tipo de cosas.
people could see anything.
Y las cosas
Some people think they've stopped breathing.
Hay gente que siente que deja de respirar.
So this is normal
Esto es normal.
and it's a good sign.
Es un buen signo.
If you were, driving to Valencia
Estuvieras conduciendo a Valencia.
and you saw a signpost that said Valencia 50 kilometers,
Valencia, 50 kilómetros.
you'd know you were on the right road.
Sabrías que estás en el camino correcto.
These nyam experiences are signposts like that. Now, you wouldn't get off the road and start camping at the signpost because it said Valencia. You keep going. So if you find yourself becoming attached to one of these experiences, this is where you need the blessing of your teacher to get past. And you need to use your speech chakra, chakra of intent, and do monlam, wish path. So what you have to do is pray out loud to your teacher, and that could be Guru Rinpoche, that could be Primordial Buddha, Yabyum, that could be Karmapa, an individual, however you see your teacher. Pray for their blessing that that they merge their mind with yours, that you do a mind meld with them, and this shows you the reality past the experience, that which does not come and go, which is slightly distorted by the experience going on in front of it.
I don't have a teacher, but I'll put it in your video.
Yes, you can use the pay method instead. Traditionally, Mahamudra is the prayer method,
Tradicionalmente,
and Maha'ati is the pay method. But I don't care. If it works, use it.
so traditionally Mahamudra is,
Praying out loud to your teacher.
and in Mahati.
Maha'ati is pet.
Okay, yeah, okay. So en Mahamudra se usa tradicionalmente el método de oración y en Mahati o Dzogchen se usa el método del PET. Someone is asking what is the PET method.
Go to the teaching.
A la enseñanza.
3 words of Garab Dorji.
Tres palabras de Garab.
It will describe it clearly to you.
Este método claramente para ti.
I will give a short version
Yo voy a
here,
dar ahora una versión breve, reducida.
but for more details on Dzogchen method,
Detalles sobre el método Dzogchen.
go there. It's online in several versions.
Está online en la grabación, hay varias versiones de esta enseñanza.
Basically,
Básicamente,
the pet teaching,
la enseñanza del PET,
when you get caught in a nyam,
cuando te quedas atascado enredado en el ñam,
you find yourself attached to it,
te quedas como apegado,
thinking it's the real thing, maybe.
pensando que es lo real,
You want to keep it.
quieres mantenerlo.
Suddenly,
Repentinamente,
fiercely,
ferozmente
and sharply
y fuertemente,
strike with the seed
golpea
syllable,
con la sílaba semilla,
which is the union
que es
of the
la
letters
unión de la letra
of method,
del método
pa, and of
y
wisdom,
de
cha.
sabiduría, tra.
This spells the seed syllable pet,
Esto constituye la sílaba semilla
and you say it just like that.
y la dices así,
Sudden, sharp, and short.
repentina, corta y fuerte.
Pet. While your attention is right on that yam experience.
En esa experiencia ñam.
If you don't do these 2 things
No
together,
haces estas dos cosas juntas,
saying the syllable
decir la sílaba
and putting your attention
y
directly
poner
on the
tu
yam,
atención directamente en el ñam,
all it's going to do is startle your
todo lo
fleas.
que va a hacer es, como dicen, asustar a tus pulgas.
However,
Sin embargo,
if you do it
si
properly,
lo
it
haces
bursts the yam,
apropiadamente, estalla el ñam.
and right behind where it was,
Detrás de donde estaba el ñam,
which is everywhere and nowhere,
que es en todas partes y ninguna parte, en todos los sitios y ningún sitio,
hetewa,
es del guau.
no thing
Ninguna
at all.
cosa en absoluto.
Does that answer?
Responde tu pregunta.
One more question.
Go for it.
Una pregunta más.
So sometimes when you go into
A veces cuando
me
Marcelo unía para
feel quite overwhelmed,
me puedo sentir como
very
recogido por esto, es como muy intenso.
Is there any sort of advice you could give to deal with that?
¿Hay algún consejo para lidiar con
Relax and stop grabbing it.
relaja y deja de agarrarlo?
You happen to like intensity.
¿Te gusta la intensidad? Parece
You're probably fun in bed.
probablemente eres curioso en la cama.
However, in
Sin
meditation,
embargo, en la meditación,
when you find yourself experiencing the
cuando te
intensity,
encuentras disfrutando la intensidad,
relax into it.
relájate en ella.
Don't fight it.
No luches o no te pelees.
Don't tell a story about it.
Que cuentes una historia al respecto.
Relax your attention into
Relaja tu
stillness.
atención en la quietud,
The intensity is moving.
la intensidad.
Wasn't there, now it's there, gonna go.
Estaba ahí y ahora sí, se va a ir, se va a acabar también.
So just relax into that.
Así que simplemente relájate en eso.
And the big point,
El punto importante, central,
subtly,
sutilmente,
you will either grab it because it's so very entertaining,
observar, porque es tan interesante, tan entretenido,
or shove it away because it's so very scary,
que es tan atrapador,
or do both at once,
o harás ambas cosas al mismo tiempo,
which is more likely.
que es lo más probable.
When you catch yourself doing that, hit that with pet too.
Cubres haciendo eso, dale con pez también.
Other questions?
Hay más preguntas.
No sé si lo he entendido bien, pero creo que es recomendable que nos miremos nuestro yo sin mirarnos al espejo.
I don't know if I got it correctly, but have you suggested that we look at ourselves without looking in the mirror?
Yes.
Mi pregunta es, ¿este espejo es la excusa, tampoco no sé si lo he entendido bien, es la excusa para no desnudarnos cuando nos miramos a nosotros mismos?
I don't know if I understood correctly, but this mirror is like an excuse to not get naked when we look at ourselves.
No. Without using a mirror literally, without picking up a mirror out of your bathroom or pocket
Sin tomar un espejo de tu bolsillo
and gazing into your own eyes
y
with
de
it.
tus propios ojos.
Don't do that.
O no hagas eso.
Put the mirror away,
Quita, suelta el espejo.
rest in stillness.
Descansa en quietud.
Who,
¿Quién?
what
¿Qué?
rests in stillness?
Descansa en quietud.
Hint, it's not your personality.
Una clave, no es tu personalidad.
Who is there
¿Quién está allí?
without your memories or experiences?
Recuerdos o experiencias.
Who is there
¿Quién está allí?
without your
Sin
plans?
tus planes. Sin eso.
Who is there
¿Quién está allí?
without your beliefs of what is real in the moment?
Creencias sobre qué es real en ese momento.
That's the naked.
Eso es lo desnudo.
Naked of thought
Desnudo de
patterns,
pensamiento y de patrones de pensamiento.
belief
De
systems,
sistemas de creencia.
hopes and fears.
Esperanzas y temores.
Take all that off, who's left?
Suelta todo eso. ¿Qué queda? ¿Quién queda?
What of you
¿Qué de ti
does not
no
change?
cambia?
Find
Encuentra
not just the stillness within you,
la quietud en ti,
but with a you within the stillness.
sino el tú en la quietud.
That's homework.
Ese es
Barangrik.
para el hogar.
Who meditates?
¿Quién medita?
Who experiences stillness
¿Quién experimenta quietud
and moving?
y movimiento?
Who experiences
¿Quién
moving
experimenta
stillness?
quietud en movimiento?
Now, I'm taking you this weekend on a shortcut.
Yo les voy a dar, estoy dando un atajo este fin de semana.
Usually, to go from
Para
Shine
pasar de China
to Rangrik
a Ranrik
takes many years.
lleva años.
To go from Rangrik to
Para
Rochik
ir a Ranrik a Rochik
takes time.
lleva tiempo.
To go from Rochik to Game
Rochik a Gomet
takes time,
lleva
years.
tiempo, años.
I'm showing you the shortcut, the full pattern of Mahamudra,
El patrón entero de Mahamudra.
but
Pero
it's up to each one of you
depende de cada uno de ustedes
individually
individualmente
to either choose to actualize it
actualizar esto
or to choose not to
o
do so.
elegir no hacerlo.
Not all of you
No todos ustedes
will find this practice your cup of tea.
práctica como que es algo que quieren hacer.
Some people
Algunas
like
personas
coffee.
les gusta el café.
Some people
Algunas personas
like chai.
gusta el chai.
It doesn't matter
No
what practice you
importa
do,
qué práctica hagas.
as long as you actually do it and not just intend to
La
do it.
hagas y no solo tengas la intención de hacerlo.
So the trick is
El truco es
Pick the one you like
Elige
doing.
la que te gusta hacer.
Do you like ringing bells and ceremonies and chanting?
Campanas y ceremonias y cantos.
Please practice
Por
Tantra.
favor, practica Tantra.
Mahamudra is part of
El
it.
Mahamudra es parte del Tantra.
Do you like
¿Te gusta
sitting in stillness?
sentarte en quietud?
Please practice Mahamudra.
Practica Mahamudra.
Do you prefer?
¿Prefieres acaso?
Can you not make your mind hold still for even an instant and haven't a clue what I'm talking
¿O
about?
puedes hacer que tu mente se quede quieta por un instante y no tienes idea de lo que estoy hablando?
Try Nundro or Dzogchen.
Prueba un Nundro, un Dzogchen.
Dzogchen if it works, Nundro if it doesn't.
Si funciona y si no, un Nundro.
You pick.
Tú eliges.
But once you choose the one you like to do,
Eliges una que te guste hacer.
it's up to you to do it in a regular manner.
Y hacerla de modo regular.
If you need help with that,
Necesitas ayuda con eso.
join a Sangha.
Únete a una sangha.
Look, here's a place for a Sangha. A lot of you are local.
Hay sitios de sangha. Muchos de ustedes son locales.
Hang out with a Sangha and they'll encourage you,
Tiempo con una sangha y te van a incitar a que hagas esto.
unless they have politics.
A menos que tengan política.
Some do. I
Algunas
don't know this one, but it doesn't feel like that's a problem.
no los tienen, no. Creo que es así, pero no parece que fuera un problema. Aquí.
Just pick one,
Solo
decide on it,
decide eso
and do it.
y hazlo.
Later, it might change.
Después puedes cambiar.
Be open to that,
Está abierto o abierta a eso.
but pick one you
Pero
like.
elige una que te guste.
With the children,
Con los niños,
we have a little trick we play on the
tenemos
Tibetan
un
children.
truco que hacemos con los niños tibetanos.
Whenever we bring them to the
Cuando
Gompa
los llevamos a la gompa
to practice, to
para
chant,
practicar, para cantar,
to receive a
para
wong,
recibir un wong,
we always give them
siempre
something really fine and tasty to
algo
eat,
muy rico y sabroso para comer,
like candy
como caramelos
or ice cream.
o helado.
The little kids grow up loving the feeling
Crecen amando la sensación, el
of Gompa,
sentimiento de la gompa,
the meditation hall.
las salas de meditación.
It tastes sweet to them,
Les da un gusto dulce,
and they don't even remember why.
ni siquiera recuerdan por qué.
How many of you have young kids?
¿Cuántos de ustedes aquí tienen niños pequeños?
Do those of you with young children wish to encourage them to practice?
Con niños pequeños, ¿quieren incitarlos a practicar?
Don't make them practice.
No los hagan practicar.
And don't leave them for long retreats until they're teenagers and want you to.
Solos por largos periodos de tiempo se vayan de retiro hasta que sean adolescentes.
Instead,
En cambio,
give them ice cream.
denles helado.
Every time you expose them to the Dharma, give them ice cream or a cookie,
Denles alarma, denles helado o una galleta.
something they really like.
Que a ellos les gusta realmente.
They won't remember why they like Dharma later.
Entonces van a acordar del por qué les gusta el Dharma.
They'll think it tastes sweet.
Pero sentirán que tiene gusto dulce.
Huh. Are you having trouble making yourself practice?
¿Tienen problemas para practicar? Para hacerse practicar ustedes mismos?
You like chocolate?
¿Les gusta el chocolate?
Put a bowl of chocolate by your altar in the place you sit to practice.
Pon un poco de chocolate en el altar cuando te sientas a practicar.
Only eat it when you're sitting there.
Solo cómelo cuando estés sentado allí.
Will that work for you?
¿Funcionará eso?
It works on the children.
Funciona con los niños.
We are children.
Y somos niños.
Other questions?
¿Hay más preguntas? Entonces, música. Si nos empezamos con stillness, so if we start with stillness, luego es puerta hacia el Big Bang, o sea que So this is gateway to Rigpa.
Sí.
What do you think Rigpa is?
¿Qué crees que es Rigpa?
Y en dualidad.
Oh, non-duality.
No,
No.
Rigpa
Rigpa
is what's looking out from behind your own eyes right in this very moment.
entre tus ojos en este mismo momento.
That's Rigpa.
Eso es Rigpa.
You don't have to achieve it.
No necesitas lograrlo.
You've always had it.
Ya lo tienes.
Doesn't
Lo
come
tienes.
and go.
No es algo que empieza y termina.
Right here, right
Aquí
now,
mismo, ahora mismo.
beyond time and
Más allá
space.
del tiempo y el espacio.
Rigpa
Rigpa
is simply
es
see
simplemente
er.
el que ve o el que ve.
Rig, the verb to
Rig
see.
es el verbo ver.
Pa, remember the syllable of method?
Es la sílaba de método.
As it's in
Como
et, pa. Well, it's also the er suffix
es el
grammatically.
tipo de personificación, ¿no? Es aquel que ve.
The seer that looks out from behind
El
your
que
own
ve
eyes.
desde tus ojos.
That's Rigpa.
Eso es Rigpa.
Stop trying to get it.
Deja de intentar
Relax.
obtenerlo. Relájate.
Seeing it for what it is tonight's homework.
Por verlo por lo que es realmente es tener para el lugar de
To rest in stillness and
descansar en
find
quietud y encontrar
what sees
qué
stillness,
ve la quietud,
what sees movement.
qué ve el movimiento.
Hint, it's not your personality.
La pista es que no es tu personalidad.
And tell me tomorrow if Rigpa is still
Cuenta
or moving.
mañana si Rigpa está quieto o se mueve.
Entonces,
So, so,
cuando venimos a un idam, la bodhicitta es una pregunta correcta. Cuando venimos al idam,
sí.
y desarrollo mi bodhicitta es una pregunta correcta.
So when we ask to a Yidam to develop our bodhicitta, is that the correct request?
It is. Your Yidam,
Sí lo es. To Yidam,
whichever of the
cualquiera de
archetypes
los arquetipos
it is itself
es en sí mismo
the nature of
la
Bodhicitta.
naturaleza de bodhicitta.
It is
Es
itself
en sí mismo
the story
la historia
that all Buddhas tell
que
themselves
todos los budas se cuentan a sí mismos.
as they lift themselves by their bootstraps
Elevan a sí mismos mediante sí mismos
from all sentient
de
beings.
todos los seres sintientes.
You see, when we say all Buddhas of the three
Cuando
times,
decimos todos los budas de los tiempos, de los tres tiempos,
all Buddhas of the past,
todos los budas del pasado,
all Buddhas of the present,
todos del presente,
all
todos
Buddhas
los
of the
budas del
future,
futuro,
where do you think they come
¿de
from?
dónde piensas que vienen?
They are exactly and no different than
Diferentes y no diferentes.
all sentient beings of the three realms
Los tres reinos,
of desire and
del
form and
deseo,
formless
la forma y la
realms.
no forma de los reinos.
All beings arise as all
Todos
Buddhas.
los seres surgen como todos los budas.
Your Yidam is the story of how that happened.
Cómo esto ocurrió.
You're the dance of the moving, which is your sadhana, and the rest in the stillness, which is the absorption at the end. The moving stillness and the awareness that dances them. Does this answer your question? Bodhicitta is the nature of that very vitality, which is also known as awareness. The word word
La
bodhisattva.
palabra bodhi, chitta,
Bodhi, gone
bodhi
beyond.
es
That's
lo
gone.
que trasciende más allá, lo que trascendió así.
Sita, consciousness.
Está conciencia,
Bodhisattva.
bodhisattva.
Muchas gracias. Si hay una diferencia grande dentro de Yudro Bon y movimiento de
Is there a big difference between gentle bond and the rhythm movement?
No, I wouldn't see any.
filosófica o filosófica? Yo,
¿Cuál?
filosófica o
Theosophical or philosophical difference?
No. There is in Yundron Bon, there's a great deal of emphasis, as far as I've seen,
En Yudro Bon, hasta donde yo sé, hay mucho énfasis
on Salung
en
practices,
las prácticas del salud,
similar to what you find in Kargyu.
similar que en el Kagyu.
There's in Gelugpa, there's a great deal of emphasis on intellectual understanding in Sutrayana,
Intelectual del Sutrayana.
which you also find
Que
in
también encuentras
Nyendu Bon.
en Yendu Bon.
Bon's got two, Yundrun and Nyendu.
Hay dos.
There's two lineages
Son
within.
como dos linajes.
The Shakya
Los Shakya
is very much a dance of bliss and tantra,
es una danza de gozo y tantra.
and the Nyingma tend to be a bit wild and woolly and individualistic.
Tienden a ser un poco salvajes e individualistas.
And there is a delightful flavor to each one of these.
Hay un gusto gozoso de cada uno de ellos.
Don't you like your ice cream dish with assorted flavors in it?
¿No te gusta tu plato de helados con muchos sabores diferentes?
And you lick a bit of this and you lick a bit of
Tomas
that.
un
Well, that's
poquito de
Rime.
este gusto y del otro, esto es rime.
When I sing the lineages,
Cuando yo canto a los linajes,
I include both Nyendu and Yundrun Bon,
tanto el Bon Yendu como Yundu,
as well as Ochen,
como Ochen,
which is the Madhyamika intellectual side of the Gelugpas, which I studied for many years. I thought it was fun, but I've switched to quantum physics now as a hobby. Because a girl needs a hobby to play with
Porque una chica necesita un hobby para jugar
in my copious spare time.
en mi tiempo libre.
Intellect is not bad.
El intelecto no es malo.
Lack of intellect is not bad.
La ausencia de intelecto no es mala.
Good and bad are cultural
Bueno,
stereotypes that you
son
stick on things.
estereotipos culturales que le adhieres a las cosas
They run deep.
y son profundos, llegan profundo,
They're moving.
se mueven.
No thing and nowhere.
Ninguna cosa en ningún sitio.
Let go.
Suelta.
Other questions?
Hay más preguntas.
Tener mala memoria,
Ok.
tener mala memoria, que no se me queda nada, ¿es como desapego o es desconcentración? ¿Es presencia o desconcentración?
To have a very bad memory that things just go out and so is that to be unaware or is it unattached or unaware?
I do not understand what bad memory. What are you talking about? Oh, to be like slightly senile.
Ser un poco senil, ¿quieres decir?
Yeah, I got it too.
Sí, a mí me pasa también.
Pero es falta de presencia.
It goes with the silver hair, honey.
Esto viene con el pelo blanco, cariño.
Don't worry about it.
No te preocupes por eso.
No es falta de
So
presencia.
it's not lack of presence.
No, your brain,
No, tu cerebro
it deteriorates with
se
time.
deteriora con el tiempo.
Fortunately, It's not that important.
No es tan importante.
It
Ahora
is.
soy más feliz, eso es verdad.
So now I'm more happy, I'm happier.
Yes, you should be.
Sí, debería.
I'll tell you a story that will help you feel better about it.
Te voy a contar una historia para que te sientas mejor.
Once, when I was studying with Lama Yeshi
Estudiaba con Lama Dzogchen
up on a hillside in Nepal,
en las colinas en Nepal.
it was rest time after lunch,
Era el momento del descanso después de la
when
noche.
suddenly we all hear the bell ringing
Finalmente todos sentimos la campana.
to gather at the tent in which everything happened, because we hadn't built a gompa yet. We just had a tent,
Una tienda, perdón, una
big
tienda,
white tent,
una tienda blanca,
almost as big as this room,
casi tan grande como esta sala,
but open on the sides.
pero abierta en los costados.
So we gathered,
Así que nos reunimos.
and Lama Yeshi said,
Lama Yeshe dijo,
an old friend of mine,
viejo amigo mío,
one of my teachers, has
uno de
come
mis
by.
maestros,
He just wanders around the forest.
cada uno va por el bosque,
His disciples follow him.
o sus discípulos lo siguen, él va por el bosque, perdón, y sus discípulos lo siguen,
If he sits down under a
y
tree,
se sienta debajo de un
they put up a
árbol,
little shelter over him.
ponen un abrigo o algo que lo cubra,
When he gets up and wanders off, they follow him off.
y va a otro lado y lo siguen.
He's quite senile,
Es bastante senil,
but he's an amazing master
excelente maestro
of shunyata.
de Shunyata.
I've asked him to teach you, and he said he would.
Pedido que enseñe y él aceptó.
He'll come in the hall, sit,
Vendrá a la sala.
and then he brings in this old guy. He looked like he was over 100,
A este
Skinny.
viejito de más de 100 años, muy delgado,
ragged,
con la ropa muy rota,
bald,
sin pelo, sin cabello.
and he brings him up and he puts him on the throne, and the guy sits there and looks around with great amusement and curiosity.
Curiosidad y interés.
And he turns to Lama
Y
Yeshi
se
and said,
voltea a la Mayeshi y le dice,
what am I doing here?
¿qué estoy haciendo acá?
And Lama Yeshi said, oh, you said you would teach
Lama
about
Yeshe
shunyata to my students.
Usted dijo que iba a enseñar sobre Shunyata a mis estudiantes.
And he gave us the pointing out.
Nos dio la instrucción de señalamiento.
And he's only speaking in Tibetan. I think we had Lama Zopa translating.
Tibetano, creo que la Masopa traducía
And he lost the words, and then Lama Yeshi was helping.
las palabras y la Mayeshi lo ayudaba.
It was the most amazing Dzogchen pointing out.
Al señalamiento más increíble de Dzogchen.
Oh, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it.
Quizás 5 o 10 minutos.
And then he began to snore.
Y luego comenzó a roncar.
And then he had a nap,
Y luego se echó una siesta,
20 minutes or so.
20 minutos, más o menos.
Then he woke up,
Y luego se despertó,
scratched his balls,
se arrancó
and got up,
y miró,
wandered over to the altar,
fue al altar,
peed on the side of it,
orinó en el costado,
started to leave.
comenzó a irse.
Lama Yeshi ran and brought him back. Oh, no, no.
Lo trajo.
You're going to teach my students.
Y le
Please
dijo,
come
"No,
sit down
voy a
again.
enseñar a mis
It's like,
estudiantes".
really? That's what
Siéntese.
I'm doing?
¿De verdad?
Okay.
¿Eso es lo que estoy haciendo? Ok.
It's very cooperative.
Muy cooperativo.
Came and sat down,
Vino, se sentó,
smiled,
sonrió,
talked about the trees and the flowers and the birds singing, because that's what he was hearing.
y de los escuchaba.
Segued back into another one of those pointing outs that I can't even describe. I remember none of the words.
Instrucciones de señalamiento increíbles que no tengo ni palabras.
I was in my first years of practice.
Estos eran mis primeros años.
I'd never had pointing out before,
Nunca había recibido estos señalamientos antes.
but it was the full four wongs,
Pero
telepathic,
todo-
everything
todo-
else.
Toda la potencia telepática y todo.
I think he didn't have a crystal. He held up a water bottle or
Él
something.
tenía un cristal y mostraba una botella de vidrio o algo.
And then he suddenly said, oh,
Y
I'm
luego
done now.
dijo, ahora termina.
And he left.
Y se fue.
The moving,
El movimiento se mueve.
no matter where it
Sin
moves
importar
to,
hacia dónde se mueva.
won't bother the stillness.
No va a molestar a la quietud.
And I'm not going to tell you about the awareness, because that would spoil it for homework tonight.
Hablándote sobre la conciencia porque eso sería como
Go
spoiler,
find it. senility,
la senilidad,
thoughts,
los pensamientos,
the ability to remember or not remember, to stick them together or not together,
recordar, de conectarlos o no poder conectarlos,
is moving,
es movimiento, se está moviendo,
changes.
cambia.
Now, I've also heard that there is a ñam,
También he escuchado que hay un ñam,
a meditative
una
experience
experiencia meditativa
of forgetfulness,
del olvido,
that it is a sign that you're on the right
como
path,
un signo de que estás
and you
en el
should
camino
come to the other side of it.
y de que debes llegar a otro sitio de esto.
So I have been told.
Así que me han dicho esto, eso me han dicho.
I still forget everything that's not tied down.
Yo me olvido de todo lo
So if there is another side of it, I haven't found it yet.
Si hay otro lado a esta experiencia al que hay que llegar.
Some of my teachers say it's a good thing, a good side.
Dicen que son
Don't worry about it, don't fight it.
No te preocupes con esto del olvido, no pelees.
Some say hit it with a bat.
Algunos dicen dale a esto también con un pet.
So I think the jury's out on this one.
Creo que
It
todavía
depends on how old they are
algo
themselves,
no se ha resuelto.
what answer they give me.
Tal vez depende de la edad de ellos la respuesta que me dan.
The young ones tell me it's going to wear off.
Los jóvenes me dicen que esto se va a pasar.
It's a ñam.
Que es un ñam y va a pasar.
Sharpness is on the other side again.
Que de nuevo hay agudeza del otro lado.
But I've never heard that from any of the really old ones.
Pero nunca he escuchado
They just say, oh, pish tosh, it doesn't matter.
Ellos te dicen, "Ah,
Sharp, dull, remembering, not
claro,
remembering.
claro,
It's moving, who cares?
Se mueve, es movimiento, aquí no importa.
So I've given you what I have heard
Entonces te digo lo que he escuchado
and what I have experienced.
y lo que yo he experimentado.
Other questions?
¿Hay más preguntas?
Is there a thing such as too little ambition or too much ambition?
¿Hay algo así como demasiado poca ambición o demasiada ambición?
Struggle to find the balance.
But those are moving.
Eso es movimiento, aparte de lo que se mueve.
Who cares?
¿A quién le importa?
If I feel hungry, I can keep seeing that I'm hungry.
Si yo
And if I don't act on it, I'll probably die.
Yeah, why should you not act on it?
que tengo hambre y no reacciono sobre eso.
Responsiveness. If you're hungry, eat.
Si tienes hambre,
If
come.
you're sleepy, sleep.
Si tienes sueño, duerme.
It seems very simple.
Parece muy simple, ¿no?
The difference between provoking and being responsive,
Entre provocar y tener capacidad de
I think, is
respuesta,
what you're asking about.
creo que es eso lo que estás preguntando.
When you do not force a constraint upon yourself,
Cuando no fuerzas una constricción, una restricción sobre ti mismo,
sopa,
sopa,
the flow,
el flujo,
arises naturally.
surge naturalmente.
However,
Sin embargo,
when you pay attention to your thoughts,
prestas atención a tus pensamientos
which will attempt to judge you,
que van a intentar juzgarte,
am I doing it right?
estoy haciéndolo bien.
Okay, there's like
Ok,
2 questions I get
hay dos preguntas que veo acá,
again and again and again.
una y otra vez. En general.
I say 90% of the questions are these 2.
90% de las preguntas que me hacen son estas dos.
Am I doing it right?
¿Lo estoy haciendo bien?
And are we there yet?
¿Y ya hemos llegado?
Watch the judgment.
Observa el juicio.
I'm doing it right, I'm not doing it
¿Lo
right.
estoy haciendo bien? No lo estoy haciendo bien.
Recognize that as moving
Reconoce eso como movimiento.
and don't pay it no,
No
never
le
mind.
prestes atención.
Rest in stillness.
Descansa de inquietud.
Responsiveness will arise automatically.
La capacidad de respuesta surgirá automáticamente.
Your relaxation will permit
Tu relajación permitirá
the baby pretend Bodhisattva
que el bodhisattva
of loving kindness
de la bondad amorosa,
to mature into the bliss of awareness
madure y se vuelva el gozo de la conciencia,
without losing
sin perder
the responsiveness of loving kindness.
la capacidad de respuesta de la bondad amorosa.
Make sense?
¿Te hace sentido?
So if I feel the urge to opt out, or start a new company,
So, el deseo de invitar a una chica a salir,
Being aware of whether your behavior, your action, at this stage will create gewa or digpa. For instance, just how crazy is that pretty girl?
¿Qué tan loca es esa chica bonita?
You know, some of them,
Algunas de ellas
you really shouldn't be dating her.
no deberías dar.
She'll make a mess of you. Others,
Las vas a-
lovely. A good time for both,
Y en otro caso, es un buen momento,
provided you approach with honor.
siempre que te aproximes con honor.
If she is monogamously involved with someone else,
Si está involucrado monogámicamente con alguien,
and you become involved even without knowing that,
te
having been lied to,
quedarás con-
you will still create cause for constriction.
crearás igual causa de constricción.
Therefore, at
Por
this
lo
point
tanto,
in your
en este
practice,
punto de tu práctica,
until such time as the responsiveness of the flow arises naturally for you, and you can't do it on purpose, it'll do you.
naturalmente para ti, no lo puedes hacer a propósito.
Pay very fine attention
Presta mucha
to
atención
whether you are creating
a si
gewa
estás
or digpa.
creando gewa o digpa.
And that's how you decide
Y así es como decides
at this stage.
en este punto.
Once you,
Una vez que
first level of Bodhisattva, stream enterer,
primero
first
te
booming,
visita,
however you want to judge it. Once that happens to you, and there is no way you can make that happen any faster than it's gonna, except by doing your practice as instructed. You can't grab it and make it get good enough for it or do anything. It has to arise naturally, because you bugger it up if you try to grab it. It's like grabbing a butterfly that lands on your palm. Do not grab. You'll squish it.
No cierres el puño porque la vas a aplastar.
So sopa,
Así que sopa,
sometimes called conduct,
a veces llamado conducta,
sometimes called action,
a veces llamado acción,
sometimes called spontaneous action of non-action,
llamado acción espontánea o no acción,
or spontaneous non-action of action,
no acción espontánea de acción,
also known as the flow.
también conocido como el flujo.
When that
Cuando
happens
eso ocurre,
as a result of your
como
practice,
resultado de tu práctica,
don't grab it.
no lo aferres,
Relax.
relaja.
I have a text for you.
Tengo un texto,
Short one. Let me read it.
un
Let me read it.
texto, déjame que te lo lea,
By Naropa's sister, Niguma.
de la hermana de Europa, que se llamaba Nigma.
Come on, get over here.
Nigma está por acá.
Not that one. That's a long text. I want a short one. Here we go.
Aquí.
You don't have to do anything with your mind.
No necesitas hacer nada con tu mente.
Just let it naturally rest in its essential nature.
Deja que descansa naturalmente en su esencia esencial, natural.
the awareness of dancing
la
stillness.
conciencia de la quietud que danza, danzarina.
Your own mind,
Tu propia mente,
unagitated
no agitada,
by grabbing and shoving,
mediante el aferramiento y el rechazo,
is reality.
es la realidad.
Meditate on this without distraction.
Medita en esto sin distracción.
Know the truth beyond
Conoce
all
la
opposites.
verdad más allá de todo opuesto.
For thoughts are like
Los
bubbles that
pensamientos
form and
son
dissolve
como
in clear
burbujas que
water.
se forman y se disuelven en agua clara.
Thoughts are not distinct
Los
from the absolute reality.
no son diferentes de la realidad absoluta.
So relax, there's no need to be critical.
Relájate, no hay necesidad de ser crítico.
Whatever arises,
Lo que
whatever
sea,
occurs,
lo que sea que ocurra,
simply don't cling to it.
simplemente no te aferres a ello.
Let it go, let it
Déjalo
be.
ir, déjalo ser.
What you see,
Lo
hear,
que
and touch are
ves,
your own mind.
tocas es tu propia mente.
There is nothing but that.
No hay nada más que eso.
Mind transcends birth and death.
Trasciende el nacimiento y la muerte.
The essence of mind
La
is pure
esencia de la
consciousness
mente es conciencia pura,
that never leaves
que
reality.
nunca se separa de la realidad.
Awareness itself
La
as it is,
conciencia misma tal cual es,
even though it experiences the things of the senses
aunque experimente cosas de los sentidos,
in the equanimity of the absolute,
ecuanimidad del absoluto.
there is nothing to renounce or attain.
Nada que renunciar o retener.
And to end that, if you practice illusion-like meditation
Practicas la meditación como una ilusión
on illusion-like phenomena,
sobre fenómenos espiritual ilusión,
illusion-like Buddhahood will arise
irá budeidad como una ilusión
through the power of your devotion.
mediante el poder de tu devoción.
Naguma is cool.
Ningún más es bueno.
I think it's time to call it a day, guys.
Creo que es momento de terminar el día.
I will see you all tomorrow.
Los veré a todos mañana.
Are there any last questions about the homework?
¿Alguna pregunta sobre el deber para el hogar?
I'm a yogi.
Yo soy una yogini,
Practice lineage.
un linaje de práctica.
It's more about practicing than it is about me just telling you stuff.
Respecto a practicar, que yo les diga cosas.
So go practice tonight.
Así que vayan a practicar hoy.
Find the seer of what is seen,
Encuentren al veedor de lo que es visto,
also known as a Rigpa,
también conocido como Ripa,
but find it for yourself.
pero encuéntralo por ti mismo.
When you rest in stillness,
Cuando descansas en quietud,
ooh, what?
¿quién qué
Rests in stillness.
descansa en quietud?
When you compulsively pursue poking at the moving,
Sigues compulsivamente intentando manosear el movimiento,
ooh, what does that?
manipularlo. ¿Quién qué hace eso?
Does Rigpa move or is it still?
¿Ripa se mueve o está quieto?
Have fun. Yes.
People are not coming tomorrow, so they would like to offer a comment. This young lady has a gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I am not from here because he's in local. You talk so nice.
Thank you. I think I will. Thank you very much. Jan, you will do it.
tomorrow for practical
Go down and around and hand me the boompa.
island.
Oh, no, you can get
You
it from
can
here.
find cards in the back and envelopes.
She may be here. It's not
I will be
here.
here.
Come to give you the-
Oh, you're going to be here tomorrow. Okay, but you might as well have some. Hold out your hand. One hand, make a cup. Cup. There you are. Drink. Thank you.
Should I be constitutional?
Yes, she'll carry it for me.
You did notice she did not bite you.
Okay.
You did notice she did not bite you.
No, I
He looks tasty. Can I have a bite?
Nice meeting you.
You too. So the people who aren't coming back tomorrow, come up and see me now.
La gente que no va a volver mañana, vengan a verme.
We'll just do this little bit.
Haremos esto a partir
I'm just fine.
Ah,
Thank you.
I recommend that you drink with us. Later, see the broadcast from tomorrow. Yes. Martin, tell her to later see the broadcast from tomorrow so that she gets that piece too.